Hey everyone, it's Mike from Michelson Art. I hope everyone's having a great day today. As usual, thank you guys so much for taking the time to check in and hear a little bit more about some of the card projects I've been working on. So a lot of the unique card designs that I work on are really because of you guys. You guys really come up with a lot of interesting combinations of players and design years and, little bits of card design details that we mix up, and we really make unique cards. But those are super fun to work on. But on the completely opposite end of the spectrum, it's also fun to work on projects like the one I'm going to show you today, which is a faithful reproduction of a card, where the client for this one really wanted the card to look exactly like the original, which is always a fun challenge. The card that they picked is unique because it's such a scarce card. I think that the recent PSA population report for this card said that there was only around 56 of them that have been graded and actually are accounted for. But that's what made this card really fun to work on, is the fact that it was so scarce. So why don't we just take a look. This is the card that we made. It's actually a 1968 Roberto Clemente three-dimensional card. So here is what we came up with. This is our 3D version of this really, really unique and really scarce Roberto Clemente card. There's a lot of details in this one to unpack, so let's jump right in and take a look at what went into making this card. All right, so here is our recreation of the 1968 Topps Roberto Clemente 3D card. Card was super fun to work on. The original was made in the 60s when Topps teamed up with a company called Xograph, to make these cards. And I believe the first set that they came up with was a 12-card set. And this Clemente just happens to be one of the more popular and one of the more sought-after cards from that set. One of the hardest details to do on this card is actually the Xograph logo down here. It is super tiny. I'm not sure if you guys can even see this, but that little Xograph logo was probably one of the tougher things to do on the front of this card. And I really love how it came out, because even though it's so super tiny, it's definitely readable and it looks like the original. I'd say the most difficult part, and almost the easiest part at the same time, was this really psychedelic background. And that's just me trying to mimic the hologram, type look of that card. These cards originally, when you kind of move them back and forth like this, you could see Roberto, pop right out. And even though this isn't a three-dimensional card, I think because he's so dark and, the background came out so soft and nice, I think he kind of really pops in that weird three-dimensional way. So really love this card front. And I guess the only other thing that you guys might notice that's different from a lot of my other cards is that this one has rounded corners. And that was particularly stressful because I cut that after I had painted everything. I wasn't sure whether to cut it before or after, and I decided that after painting would probably be the safest time to cut that out. So it's actually a little bit narrower than a normal card, so I actually had to cut a little bit off of each side and then round those corners by hand with a X-Acto knife. So I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Rounding a corner with an X-Acto knife is not easy, and I'm really happy that I did not really butcher one of them. So really love that card front. And now the back is going to be really interesting because it's a real departure from what you're used to seeing on the back of my cards. Because like I said, this is a total recreation, and this is the back of what you would see on the actual back of this three-dimensional card. So let's take a look. All right. So there you go. On the back of these cards, there was a little bit of a blurb about how they were experimental, limited edition, and not supposed to be circulated. So I did my best to kind of do a nice typewriter type font to the back of this, so it would really look like it was typed out like the original versions do. So really happy with how that back came out. You know, really had to focus on a lot of those letters, but really happy with the look of it. So that is our card back. And back to our card front. Really love this one, and you know, really happy with the total overall look of this card. I know it's not the original, but you know, darn, it looks pretty close. All right, so that is it. That is the story of our 1968 Roberto Clemente card. Thank you so much to the client that reached out and wanted to make this card. It was such a fun challenge and just really interesting to work on and read a little bit more about the story to this card, because I honestly had no idea a lot of the details behind this one, and it was really great to learn a little bit more about Roberto and you know, the story of this really interesting card. So thank you so much. If you guys are looking for a card that you want to reproduce, you know, let me know. I'd love to make a version of any card you have in mind. And if you're somebody that just wants to mash something up and make something really unique, reach out as well, because we can totally do that too. So thank you guys so much. It was great sharing this with you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.